is Pete, or Kenshin1913, along with
Mom.
And this is another Cooking with Kenshin1913. What are we making today?
We're making stuffed, baked chicken Florentine.
Yep, and it's going to be yum.
Okay, here we are. We're going to get our ingredients ready for the stuffing.
So what do we have here, though? Let's start with this.
This is quartered chicken breast.
Mm-hmm.
So there's 4 of them in here. They're pretty large, as you can see. Skin on, bone in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You could also use ones that don't have a bone in it, but you're going to want to open up the chicken breast so that it's kind of flat, so you can roll your Florentine.
Yeah, we'll show you. So Florentine, Ma, what is that usually?
Florentine is a spinach.
Mm-hmm.
So we're using a 10-ounce frozen chopped spinach, mm-hmm. which I have thawed. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to take this and squeeze all the water out because spinach is traditionally full of water that you don't need when you're cooking because it'll slide out. We have some breadcrumbs. Mm-hmm. We have some grated cheese, pecorino Romano. Mm-hmm. We have some nutmeg, mm-hmm. salt and pepper, garlic powder. And some finely chopped onion. Yeah. And then I have some paprika for the top of the chicken afterwards.
So let's start with the stuffing.
Okay, this is our spinach, chopped spinach. This happens to be the frozen one.
Mm-hmm. Could you use fresh spinach?
You can use fresh spinach.
Mm-hmm.
You would chop it up and give it a quick boil so it wilts down. Yeah. And then you let it cool because you have to also squeeze out the fresh spinach as well.
The water, you mean?
The water in the spinach.
Yeah. So let's show because when you thawed this right from the using the microwave, there will be a lot of water, so we want to squeeze out the water.
Right. And I'm gonna get another bowl and I'll show you. But you're gonna get your hands dirty because it's good to use your hands, or you have to use a very fine strainer.
And yeah, so when making this, you'll have to squeeze out the spinach. Is there anything else we could use instead of spinach to put in this Florentine? Like traditionally, Florentine is always spinach, but I'm wondering if you could use anything else. Could you?
I've never tried anything else, but I guess you could use any kind of a green. You could use escarole. You could use chicory. You can probably even use kale. People are using a lot of kale nowadays.
Yeah, so let's squeeze out the spinach.
Okay, so you're going to see how much water's in here.
Yeah, that's why. That's one of the things why I wanted to show. So yeah, look at all that water. And you're just going to squeeze it out with your bare hands. It's kind of like a little bit of therapy, huh? Yeah. It's kind of like you're just choking the life out of the spinach here. So yeah, you just got to squeeze out all the water. So I guess what we'll do is just finish squeezing it out. It's nothing too hard to do.
You just have to wait until it cools down because if it's hot, you'll burn your hands.
Yeah. So my mom's just going to finish doing that, and then we'll be right back with seasoning the stuffing and getting the chicken all ready.
Okay.
Look at all that water.
See all the water that came out of this 10-ounce package? So here we are, and we're just going to move this around.
Break it up. Yeah, there's a lot. We need... shadow here, but yeah. So this is your this is your stuffing that we're going to use to stuff the chicken with.
Right. So let me go wash my hands and get rid of this here.
One thing you're going to want to do, even before this whole process, is like if you have everything ready, preheat your oven to 350 degrees. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to season the spinach here, and we're also going to season our chicken before we throw it in the oven.
Okay, so I'm gonna put in my chopped spinach, the onion, into the chopped spinach.
Now, how much?
This was about a quarter of a cup chopped.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna put my garlic, which is about maybe a quarter of a teaspoon, and you can use fresh garlic as well, a large clove.
Yeah, you would usually use a large some garlic, but. We don't got it right. Well, we do. I don't know why we're not using it. It's just easier.
I'm being lazy.
Yeah, it's just easier. You can definitely use a clove of garlic.
Okay, so
I remember spinach being a lot about or Florentine being a lot about the garlic and the spinach. So you just put in about a teaspoon or
a quarter of a
teaspoon
teaspoon
of pepper, black pepper.
And we're going to add just a dash of nutmeg.
Yeah. And the salt, you just want to put it like a little.
Just a little bit. We don't, and because your cheese has salt in it, so you don't want to over put it.
But you do want to season.
And then we're going to put about a quarter of a cup of the grated cheese.
And then the
quarter to half. You have to judge. If you remember, if you've watched our videos before, you know that a lot of my cooking is by judging how much to put in. And
one thing too about this recipe is there's a lot of different Florentine recipes out there. Like some people put ricotta cheese in it. Some people put some other different kinds of stuff in it, like mushrooms or olives and whatnot. It's really all. This is our version of Florentine that we enjoy quite a bit. So now you're mixing this bad boy up, getting everything incorporated. That's one of your favorite words. As mine is basically.
Now so with this, I'm also going to drizzle. Now you could drizzle a little olive oil in here, or you can drizzle a little butter if you wanted to. Whatever your preference is. It's just to make it so that when you're stuffing it, it sticks all together. Some people even add an egg in it into
that might
this
not be a bad idea.
To incorporate everything. So whatever you want to try is fine. The egg won't make it taste really any different.
It's kind of be more
just
like a binder.
Yeah. Let me get a little oil. Okay, so I'm just adding a little bit of olive oil to this, probably about a couple of tablespoons, just to see how much that you would like it to be bound up. And as you can see, and it sticks, so you can actually roll it. So this is one that. This is a recipe that you definitely have to get your hands dirty. So you can't be afraid to get your hands inside the mixture. And that is the stuffing. This kind of a stuffing is great not only for chicken, but you could use it for a pork roast or pork chops. If you get a thicker one, you cut it and then you stuff this inside. It makes a great stuffing. So people even use this for a fish. They roll the fish and then put this as a stuffing. So it's great. Okay, so here we are with our chicken breast, and we're gonna have 4 of these. Now, of course, if you're having more company over and you're making more, you just make more stuffing. So you just double everything. So what we're gonna do, we want to leave the skin on because we're gonna make a little pocket in the skin and put the Florentine underneath it. Now, some people don't want to do that. You could actually layer the Florentine and put your chicken over it if you wanted to. And then, as I mentioned earlier, you could use boneless chicken, and you open the so it comes like
butterfly.
like a big chicken cutlet, and then you can roll your Florentine inside it.
Yeah, that's good too. That's a good way to do it.
Okay.
So what are you doing? You pick
and
up the skin.
Now remember, when you're working with chicken, wash your hands. You have your items that you're working with. When you're done,
don't cross-contaminate.
Don't cross-contaminate. Go wash your hands again. Get rid of everything.
So what you're doing is just going under the skin. You're pulling the skin up a little bit, right?
Yep.
You're just slowly
opening it up a little bit.
Should I close? Yeah, there we go. So as you can see, you're
trying to make a pocket.
Yeah, you don't want to take the skin off 100%, but you do want to kind of get it off a little bit so that you can get when you're stuffing it. And it's going to be yum.
Okay. So
how big do you think the pocket should be? Don't go crazy taking the whole thing off.
Right. And you're going to see I'm going to stuff it.
Yeah, all right.
All right, so we're going to take some of our stuffing. And we're going to push. See how it goes underneath as you're doing it, and
it.
See?
You get the nice green. One thing you could think about doing is you could butter up the skin after you're done, or you could put like a tiny pat of butter in here.
You could.
To really get it nice and brown and crispy.
You could rub it the top with
yeah.
with
That's
butter.
what I was thinking. So what? Oh, one thing that you want to do, which we kind of forgot to do for this one, but you should salt and pepper your chicken. Season it up.
Well,
just a little bit.
What we're going to do is we are going to.
Now, how much stuffing? Now, how much stuffing you think you should stuff? Obviously, you probably shouldn't overstuff it.
Yes, because then it'll pop out.
Yeah, you don't want to overstuff it. So,
but we have enough. We have enough in the stuffing that we made for the 4 chicken breasts.
Yeah, so moderation is the key. You don't want to overstuff the chicken.
Okay, so now what we're going to do, and it's see, this skin doesn't cover the whole thing, so it's popping out a little bit. So you want to make sure that you've got it like that. Because now this is going to shrink a little bit too.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go wash my hands. And we're going to spray our pan, and then I'm going to show you what we do for the topping.
Yeah, I'm going to spray the pan with some vegetable oil. Okay, it's cooking spray. You could put a little olive oil on the bottom if you want. It's hard to be cameraman and do this at the same time. So yeah, you just spray it with cooking oil or whatever. You can use olive oil, butter, vegetable oil. So now what are we gonna do? Oh, you're gonna spray it more.
Yeah, a little bit.
Apparently I didn't do a good job.
You did a good job. Just
No. You don't gotta lie to me.
You were using one hand.
So now what?
So I'm gonna put this in here, and I'm gonna open up my other chicken.
No, but how? Like, do you want to show finishing off this one chicken with some paprika?
Yeah. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put, and the paprika is really just for color.
Yeah.
So we're gonna put a little bit of salt on here.
A little bit of pepper. You can actually, the best idea would be to season your chicken beforehand. Yeah.
Okay.
And put some paprika. So, yeah, the paprika is usually for color. It does give a little smoky flavor, which is good. But yeah. So we're gonna. My mom's gonna stuff the rest of these.
And what I probably would do is I will let this start to cook, and then possibly take a little bit of olive oil or a little bit of butter, whatever you choose, and then when it's browning, put it on top just with you know, a little brush, and that's it. And so then you're gonna get your drippings in the pan.
Yeah. So how long would you cook this chicken for?
This has to cook for about an hour.
At least an hour.
Until the chicken's really well, you know, cooked well through.
So yeah, my mom, we're gonna finish stuffing them, throw them in the oven, and we'll be back when it is all done and cooked.
Okay, here we are. We just took them out of the oven, and this is my pan, and you can see the lovely brown drippings that came off of it. So I'm actually going to make a little bit of gravy to put over the well, what you do is either you can do your gravy right in this pan, or you
depending on what kind of pan you're using, yeah.
Right, or you can put it in a little saucepan. I'm going to add just a tiny bit more water, and I'm going to add a little bit of cornstarch,
or flour.
Or flour. Cornstarch is much easier, and it doesn't lump up as much. So I'm going to show you how to do that. You could also add a little bit of wine if you wanted to, and so you're going to heat this up. You're going to heat it up. The wine burns off the alcohol, just so that you'll have a little extra juice for your chicken.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me show you how to do that. Okay, I'm turning on my stovetop.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to put a little bit of wine in here.
Yeah, a little white wine.
This is about a quarter of a cup.
Any kind that you'd like to drink.
So you can see now it's starting to...
You didn't even put in the wine.
Before I put it in, I'm just going to make sure I get all the drippings off.
Well, you get all of them when you throw in the wine. There you go. Thanks, Ingrid. So anyways,
we got that wine at a party
a while back.
Of a friend.
Yeah, so you're just gonna kind of like mix this stuff around. You don't have to use this as gravy, but you know, why not, right?
I wish we had smell-o-vision.
You get all kinds of flavors.
So
and now she's putting in a little bit of cornstarch. Yeah.
I just saw that was about a couple of teaspoons.
And see, you don't even need you don't need to even add water if you put that little bit of wine in. You can just add the wine and you're all set. I mean, if you don't want to drink, you know, I mean, if you I don't know, if you don't want alcohol, I guess you could just throw in the water. Yeah.
Well, it cooks off, so you're not actually drinking.
Yeah, you're not actually
alcohol.
So this is a fairly simple way to make a gravy, anyways. I think whenever we get around to doing the Thanksgiving episode, we'll show you how to make gravy. Gravy's really simple. And yeah, that's really it, huh, Ma?
Mm-hmm. And then you just let it keep cooking down. I'm going to add a little bit more of the cornstarch. I lowered it a little.
So what kind of consistency should you have on this thing? Some people put heavy cream in here too. What do you think of that?
I've never done it, so I can't speak to it.
So yeah, what else here?
This is going to be ready in just a minute. You're going to see the different consistency of it.
Yeah, how it gets really thick.
Now, this might look like it has lumps in it, but it doesn't, because this is still some of the drippings from the pan. So you can't get those. And you want to make sure that it, you know, boils up. Boy, the smell is delicious.
You know, you want to use white wine here instead of red.
Yes, white wine.
Because you're making chicken. If you're making sort of beef Florentine, which I'm sure you could do, then you would want to use red wine. And use a white wine that you would probably drink. You know what I mean? If you would drink it, then you'd probably use it. Unless it's like a fruity one, then you probably don't want to use that.
Now, what I would end up doing with this is I would pour it over my whole chicken. But I have one daughter that does not like gravy that much. So I'm going to just put this in a little dish because she doesn't like gravy on her chicken items.
But yeah, as you can see, it's thickened up quite a bit. So let's give it the old try, MOM.
Okay. I just want to get all this goodness.
Yeah, well.
Okay, I'm shutting it off now just to, because it's as thick as I want it. And it's not a real thick, but you can see that it's a thicker consistency than just the drippings.
So let's have some. Alright, so here's our chicken Florentine. I kind of cut it up a little bit so I can get some of the crunchy skin, the chicken, and the gravy.
Good.
That is very good.
And I know that I had mentioned to you that you could baste your chicken with either a little olive oil or butter once it's about halfway done. I ended up doing it with a little bit of butter. So that's why we ended up with that nice consistency of the nice brown gravy. Yeah,
the chicken's good. I'm just going to eat it all now.
It comes nice and moist when it's on the bone.
Yeah, and the gravy is really good. And the spinach isn't too spinachy. So like if you don't really care for a lot of spinach, it isn't too bad because you got the cheese and the breadcrumbs in there, and it really makes it pretty tasty. So this has been Pete, or Kenshin1913, along with
Mom.
This has been another Cooking with Kenshin1913.
Enjoy and happy eating.